Hi ladies, I'm back. You're probably wondering why I have all of this stuff here. I'm going to create a two-page scrapbook page, a two-page layout for a scrapbook using some of the supplies from the kit and then some supplies that I have. I'm going to use the star punch. I'm going to use the scallop tag punch. This may not be around, but it mimics the one that's in the kit, so that's why I'm using it. I'm going to use the pansy punch. I'm going to use black cardstock. I'm going to use one of these cutouts. I'm going to use pink pirouette cardstock. I'm going to use the box from the kit, and then 2 pages of Whisper White cardstock. With that in mind, let's get started. Now you're probably wondering how I'm going to use this box in the layout. Well, I'm not using it as a box. If you look at your box, you can see that it is seamed. I'm going to take that seam apart. You have to do it very carefully so you don't rip up the pages. Now I have this box flat and I'm going to start cutting up pieces. So I'm going to go do that and I will be back. Okay, the first thing I did was I cut off the end flaps, so then that way I have nice long straight pieces and some other pieces. I'm going to set these aside because I'm going to use those and do some punching with it. This I'm going to now cut so that I have bigger pieces that I can use as strips for accents on my page. I'm going to go do that and I will be back. Okay, as you can see, I've cut this down into other versions, smaller pieces. These two are basically the same size. So I will use those in a similar position on my page because they're the same. These others are different sizes or shapes, so I'll use those as accent pieces. With that in mind, I'm going to pull out my first sheet. For this part, you're going to need the cutout paper from where you made your cards with the open, the negative space, some Post-it notes, the pink pirouette pad, a sponge, and a dauber. What you're going to do is take your Post-it notes and cover up all the negative spaces because you don't want to end up with ink anywhere but within this negative space. You're going to take your sponge dauber and you're going to sponge on your color. This is going to take a while, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video. I will do this and then we'll come back and see the next part. Okay, now I have my flower, or I'm calling it a flower because that's what they used it for, all sponged in. I'm going to take my sponge dauber and I'm going to go around the edges to add some darker color and to really accent that flower shape. I'm avoiding the center so that we have some depth and dimension to our flower. Sorry about that. My dog has decided to let me know everybody is here. Okay, I have that flower done, so I'm going to take it off and I'll show you. That's what it looks like. I'm going to stop videotaping because I'm going to do that same procedure in a couple of other spots on here, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I am back. While I was doing that, the other thing I did was I took my letters and I added tiny dots of glue, if you can see them on there, and then I set them aside to dry. This will allow them to be sticky and make it easier for me to work on my title. I also mounted my pink pirouette onto my basic black, and as you can see, I've got 2.5 flowers on my paper. To tie the 2 pages together, I took and butted the other piece up to it, and then I took and added or used the negative space to put a flower on the other one, so that way it kind of ties the two pages together. I think it's a good idea to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding my pieces. So I'm going to take my piece of black that's going to go across the top, and I'm going to add some glue. Remember, you don't need much with this Tombow. And I'm going to put it down and make it even with the top and the sides. I'm going to take my two pieces for photo mount and add them in. And I'm going to put one up with that flower kind of peeking out, and the other one down. And the flower will peek out from there. So there I have my two photo mats. The other page will have more photo mats to it. I need to add that strip that goes across here. If I can find them, I stuck them someplace. All right, where did I put them? Okay, I found them. They were hiding from me, as usual. Okay, I'm going to take my Tombow. I'm going to add my one strip, and I am overlapping, if you can see from this piece, the black, and I extended it a little bit because I use my scoring tool to mark where 1/2 inch is to make it easier to see, to cut. Okay, and now this piece, and here's the key. The dots are at the top here. You want to make sure that this piece has the dots at the top also. So I'm just going to pick that up. Remember, that piece isn't going to show much. You just have to be careful you don't go too far on the edge. And remember, this isn't going to matter because you can put a flower over it. So now I have my decorative strip from the box, and I still have other pieces on there. And since I have some extra here, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to cut off those pieces. Now it is time to add my letters. Okay. Piece got caught underneath. Okay, so now I have to add my words. If we look at the space that I have left, I basically have about 2.5 inches. So what I want to do is I want to use about, and my letters are 1 inch high. Now they're about a little less than 3/4, or a little more than 3/4, probably around 3/4 of an inch high. So what I want to do is to make sure I have a good straight line. So I'm going to use my grid paper to help me. I have lined the top of it up with the top of a line on the grid paper. Then I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to line my ruler up with a line going across my each end, so that it goes across the grid paper, so I've matched this end and this end up. So I have a straight line. Now that my letters are ready, and this is easy because if you lose it, you just put it back there. I'm going to take, I have to slide it down. I don't have enough space. I need to find a new place to do my recording. Okay, and I'm going to start putting my letters down, holding my ruler. And I will continue in this manner. So I have my first word. Now I need to, if you notice mine went up and down, I had the smaller letters, so I did it that way. So I'm going to, again, match up my two sides. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and I'm going to start my next set of letters. And I'm going to continue in this manner until I'm finished. I don't want you to sit here and watch that, so I'm going to turn it off and come back when it's done.